David Menzies for Rebel News here in Vaughan, Ontario, and I'm at the corporate headquarters for Recipe Unlimited. Now, that's not exactly a household name in Canada, but you probably are familiar with many of Recipe Unlimited's brands. That would include the Keg, Swiss Chalet, St. Hubert, Harvey's, New York Fries, Eastside Mario's, and the list goes on. Now, astute viewers of Rebel News might recall how we've been by here the last few years in the month of June to lament the fact that Recipe Unlimited's giant Canadian flag is typically taken down and put in a closet for 30 days, replaced with that Pride Progress flag instead, because, you know, June being Pride Month, or is it Pride season right now? And I've always questioned that, folks. Certainly Recipe is entitled to do whatever they want, but when it comes to inclusivity, isn't the Maple Leaf inclusive of everybody who resides in Canada, no matter who they are, or how they identify, or what their sexual orientation is, and so on? But no, it's got to be removed for an entire month. Well, folks, you're never going to believe this. As they used to say on The Friendly Giant, look up, look way up. For here we are on June 6th, and the glorious Canadian flag is flapping in the breeze. Why the change in policy? Not that I'm complaining. Well, I did reach out to the media relations spokeswoman, that would be Nicolette Garrido. I had to send her emails because, and I'm not making this up, folks, I've been told that Miss Garrido does not have a telephone. That's right, somebody in media relations in the year of 2025 doesn't have a phone. Miss Garrido never got back to me, nor did anyone else at Recipe. In fact, it's just after 1 o'clock right now, and the place looks deserted. I'm not sure if everyone's working from home or it's a work at home Friday scenario, and no one's answering the phone, but that speaks volumes of how bad customer service is right across the board, isn't it? So allow me to speculate. I have two theories why the Canadian flag is still flying and the Pride flag is not. Now, my first theory is that maybe given the public relations black eye Recipe Unlimited received, maybe they realize this really isn't such a good idea after all. I mean, given what happened to the Bud Light brand, i.e. it was almost destroyed overnight thanks to Dylan Mulvaney, if I'm a CEO, I think I'm a little aware these days of ultra wokeism. And certainly if the CEO at this corporation read our comment section, it was virtually 100% negative, this whole idea of removing the Canadian flag. So that's my first theory. And you know, maybe Recipe Unlimited is following by example. For example, you might recall Lincoln J and I went to the Molson Coors Brewery at Highway 401 and 427 in Toronto. They have an even bigger Canadian flag. They used to remove their Canadian flag every June, which I found somewhat perverse, given that one of the biggest selling brands of Molson Coors is a beer called Canadian. But what do I know? Anyways, you might recall we paid a visit to Molson Coors to find out why the Canadian flag in all its glory was back up in June. We didn't get much information, but we gave it the good old college try. Is there somebody here in media relations, or?
No.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm just wondering, is there anyone from...
Somebody is on site today. It's a work from home day, and
Oh, okay.
we were told that you would receive whatever from... You've reached out, and you just have to be patient until somebody...
Oh, ma'am, my original queries were sent last year.
I know nothing about that. You just got to reach the media department for most
Okay. Oh, I have. And who told you that I had to be patient?
communications.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why don't they communicate? How do you like that? Now, my second theory, folks, as to why Recipe Unlimited has kept the Canadian flag in place this June, could it be this is something to do with the whole elbows up movement. You know that the Canadian flag is once again very fashionable as we take a stand over the tariff tiff emanating from south of the border. And you know, talk about irony being perverse and profound. I can remember just 3 years ago, specifically at the Freedom Convoy in the winter of 2022, how the very idea of a Canadian flag on a hockey stick mounted in a pickup truck, that was the symbol, according to the left, of the fringe minority with unacceptable views. Do you remember that?
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing.
Oh, and let's not forget, before the Freedom Convoy in 2021, the Justin Trudeau Liberals removed the Canadian flag from all federal buildings across Canada. This was based on the alleged claim that the remains of 215 Indigenous children had been found in Kamloops, BC. Of course, we know that later turned out to be a hoax. The point is, folks, the Canadian flag, it wasn't shown much respect by the Liberals going back 2 or 3 years ago, and suddenly it's in vogue, it's in fashion, it's very popular to wrap oneself in the flag. Is that the unspoken agenda of Recipe Unlimited? Suddenly flying the Canadian flag is cool again? At the end of the day, I'm going to give Recipe Unlimited a tip of the hat for doing the right thing, even though it may be for wrong reasons. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I know you love it when Rebel News brings you the other side of the story, but the fact remains we count on you for support. Unlike the trained seals in the mainstream media, we're not funded by the Mark Carney Liberals. Please, if you can, go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation.